joined by Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and we don't know how he's going to vote. So, Senator Coons, welcome.
Thanks, Chuck. It's always good to be on with you.
Let me ask you this. Have you made a decision yet on Judge Kavanaugh?
Well, Chuck, as I hope you saw, I did my job as a senator in really pressing Judge Kavanaugh in the hearings last week, questioning him aggressively on presidential power and on his views of some rights and liberties that are very important to the American people. He claimed that I misquoted him, quoted him out of context, didn't represent his views accurately. So I've sent him another round of written questions, and I'm giving him an opportunity to set the record straight. But frankly, I have grave concerns about his judicial philosophy. And unless I hear something strikingly different in the written responses than I heard in the testimony, I'm not inclined to support him.
When you say, is there something specific that he didn't answer your question that if he answers it a better way, you'll be open to supporting him?
Well, I questioned him on two different topics, Chuck. There were many others that other members of the committee questioned him on that also concerned me. But I really went to school on the issues around presidential power, and in particular, whether or not it really is his view that a president can fire at will a special counsel investigating him just because he dislikes the special counsel or the job he's doing, not for cause, and whether a president can shield himself from accountability by refusing to comply with a subpoena for investigation, for evidence, or for testimony. I think it's obvious to your viewers why this is currently relevant.
Sure.
The other line of questions I pursued had to do with his approach to something that's called substantive due process. It's been at the foundation of recent opinions by Justice Kennedy that recognized a right to marriage or marriage equality, that further advanced the right to access to contraception, to abortion, and that's been at the core of a number of key decisions around reproductive rights and LGBT rights in recent years. I wasn't satisfied with his answers on that line either, and I frankly would be stunned if he reversed course based on what he has said and written and decided over the last few years.
Well, it does sound like we got an idea of where you're leaning, but you are going to officially wait for his answers on these written questions.
That's right.
All right, I've got to ask you about some of the tactics of some of the special interest groups. You've heard report there's been coat hangers sent to Senator Susan Collins' office, some really nasty voicemails that have been played. You know, the tactics. It seems that the extreme tactics being used, I'm sure you get that there's a lot of passion. What do you make of them?
Yes. There is a huge amount of passion, as I think the whole country saw. Dozens of people were arrested in the course of the hearings. All of our offices have gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of calls, many on a daily basis. And I think that's well justified because of the level of fear, of concern, of anxiety, both about the unpredictable behavior of our president and the ways in which the Supreme Court may very well shift to a conservative majority for years or decades to come on some vital issues about individual liberty in this country. I'll take your point, though, Chuck. I do think it may end up backfiring in that it may turn off several of the key centrist votes, both Republican and Democrat, who are willing to consider a vote against Kavanaugh as they're weighing their decision here in the last days.
Do you think that when you look back at how you guys handled the confirmation hearings, and I say this as the group of Senate Democrats and the Judiciary Committee, let's be realistic. I don't feel like you guys were on the same page. I think I could tell. I had Senator Sheldon Whitehouse on. I think he was not happy with the idea of walking out or trying to do you concede that you guys didn't have a strategy, or there were too many people? Maybe you had a strategy and Sheldon Whitehouse had a strategy and Kamala Harris had another one and Cory Booker. It didn't seem like you guys were always on the same page.
Well, I'll say this. I was proud of my colleagues on the Democratic side in the committee who came well prepared and well grounded and who asked tough and focused questions. There's a lot of different material to cover here with a judge who has been a partisan, engaged in both the Bush White House and the the Judge Starr investigation of the Clinton White House, and given his 300 opinions on the D.C. Circuit. So maybe to the general public, it seemed as if we were focusing on different topics. But what I thought was important was we were focusing on different topics. You've got some very skilled and experienced senators, from Dick Blumenthal to Amy Klobuchar, who are career prosecutors who've practiced law for many years, and then our seasoned members, folks like Senator Durbin, Senator Leahy, and Senator Feinstein, who I thought really pressed Kavanaugh. Our goal here was twofold. One was to make clear our complaints, our objections to the failure to produce documents. And then second was to really question Kavanaugh aggressively.
If Democrats win back the Senate, are you going to push Chuck Schumer to bring back the filibuster for judicial nominations?
I think we should seriously discuss whether or not restoring the filibuster for all nominations wouldn't, in the long term, strengthen our federal judiciary, strengthen the Supreme Court by requiring future presidents of both parties to nominate confirmable judges and justices. Yep. Chuck, I am concerned about the ways in which we now talk about judges as if they wear blue jerseys and red jerseys, and you can predict exactly what they're going to do based on which president nominated them.
I like to tell people, if you like the way Congress functions as a polarized body, just wait till you see the judiciary in 20 years. Right. Senator Chris Coons, Democrat from Delaware, thanks for coming on, sir. Sharing your views.
Thank you, Chuck.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.